can please talk us through the team news and injury updates ahead of Villa at home this Sunday?
Well, we've only just returned back from Cyprus, so I can't yet give you the injury updates at the moment. But we'll obviously try and get everybody ready and fit to play.
The defeat at Brighton and the result. The defeat at Brighton. Did you feel personally that was the most challenging moment you had at West Ham since coming back to the club?
I felt that it was a poor result. We didn't play well, but I felt the week before we had a great result against Notts Forest.
Back at the London Stadium this Sunday, what would be your main message to the West Ham fans?
As always, get right behind the team and support as well as you have done, and keep it going.
The fact you just landed from a European game and Villa had plenty of time to prepare, what kind of advantage do you think it gives them?
I don't think it gives them any advantage.
Larnaca and Villa, different teams in different competitions, but how encouraging do you find yesterday's results?
I'm really pleased. It was a really good result for us. Important result that we got a victory if we could do. It'll not make the second game any easier because obviously we'll have to concentrate and make sure we get through. But it would be a great achievement if we could make the quarter-final of European football again for the second year in a row.
We spoke last week about Roy Keane's comments about Declan. How do you think Declan responded to these comments on the pitch? We saw a very commanding performance from him yesterday in Europe.
Mm-hmm. Well, we quite regularly get comments from lots of people, so I wouldn't really want to comment on any one individual. So all I know is that Declan Rice is a really good player.
He's been showing maturity and leadership, but how important consistency is for Declan, a young player like him, to keep on developing and growing?
Well, more importantly, it's consistency from the team we're after. Consistency that the team performed really well, and we keep the standards up what we have the last 2 or 3 years. It would be wrong to sort of individualise any one player or to pick Declan out, for example. The whole team, we all need to look for better consistency.
Lots of discussions about the tight schedule and fatigue, but how much are you enjoying this European experience with West Ham second season in a row?
Yeah, we're really enjoying it. I think we've maybe 8 or 9 games unbeaten in Europe, which has been fabulous for us. We want to try and go at least a stage further than we did last year in Europe, where we got to the semi-final. But ultimately, we have to take one game at a time and hope that we can get ourselves into the quarter-finals to start.
Would you consider West Ham as one of the favourites to win this competition this season in Europe?
Very difficult to judge, and I think like any European competition, there can be a team in form at this time of the season who, in the past, who doesn't go on to win the Champions League. It can be somebody else when you look at that. So I think you have to run into form coming near the end of the season. Let's hope we can do that.
After the defeat at Brighton and the result yesterday in Europe, what do you sense from the players in terms of their confidence levels leading to the game this Sunday?
I feel that the confidence levels are fine. We've come back from a good win in midweek. We won our last home game. We drew against Chelsea the one before it, and we beat Everton the one before that. So we're back at home. We've only had 4 games out of 14 at home, so we're looking forward to it.
How pleased are you for Mikel Antonio? 2 goals yesterday and a really solid performance.
I'm really pleased for the goals. The team needed the goals. We all did. Our performance wasn't great, but our result was good. And in the cup competitions, it's results that really matter.
What are the chances of Danny Ings to start against his former side this weekend?
Well, I wouldn't be telling you, would I? So.
And do you think Danny will have a point to prove? Will be even more motivated against you?
I have no idea what Danny would think. You need to ask Danny that question, but my feeling is that, I think any players who play or go against their old club are always keen to do well. But I think that would be the same for many players, whatever club you play for or whoever you are.
What do you think would be the key for West Ham in order to get a positive result this weekend?
Well, I think we need to play as well as we have done in other games at home recently. I think our home form seems to be much better than our away form. Hopefully we can keep that going. We've got a chunk of home games coming up in the weeks to come. So we've got Aston Villa, that's the next game. We have to concentrate on that. And then we have another European tie on Thursday night before we go into an international break. So let's hope we can finish in a good way and before we go into the break.
Villa won 2 in a row, kept clean sheets in both games. What kind of mindset do you expect from your players going into the game this Sunday?
Well, I think we only go in the same way as we would do every week. We're not really focusing on the opposition to think how do we feel because they're whatever they've done. We try and prepare our team the best we can every week. We try and get ourselves ready for the games. We give the players as much information and advice as we can, and then we ask them to go out and perform.
What's the biggest area of improvement you've seen from Villa since their change of management?
Well, I'm not a specialist in Aston Villa, so I don't know if I'm the right man to ask, but I think they've got a very experienced manager who's has actually had a great record in Europe, and he's been over before, so he'll know the Premier League well, Unai, and he's at a good club, Aston Villa, so they're going to. I would expect them to continue to improve. They've spent good money over many years now. If you look at their spends on players over the years, Aston Villa have recently been probably one of the biggest spenders, so it'll be a tough game.
I was about to ask you about Unai Emery, one of the most experienced managers in Europe. How much do you look forward to managing against him this weekend?
As I said, he's got a great record, and he's won many trophies, so great credit to him. It's not an easy thing to do, and he'll be trying to get everything he can right at Aston Villa. But I'm not an expert on Unai Emery, and I'm not an expert in Aston Villa, so you should probably ask them that question, not me.